Major League Baseball All-Star Game swing-offs, labor doom and gloom on the horizon in Major League Baseball, and should the Jays be all in at the trade deadline? All this and more on the next 1420 Sports Bar podcast. For Bureau of Sports Talk and a whole lot more. Let's get into her.
The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
1420 Sports Bar Podcast, for Bureau of Sports Talk and a whole lot more. Join host Brent Radlinsky as he bellies up to the bar and gets the conversation going that'll make you think you're sitting in your local watering hole. It's sports, beer, and shenanigans, so sit back, grab a few beers, and let's get in. The 1420 Sports Bar Podcast, for Bureau of Sports Talk and a whole lot more on this 20th day of July 2025. Today's show, as always, is brought to you by SeatGeek.com, the SeatGeek app. Use promo code BELLYUP over there at SeatGeek and save yourself $20 on your first purchase. Remember, we are part of that Belly Up Media Network. Go to bellyupsports.com for all their great articles and other podcasts, such as No Credentials Required, brunch with those guys every Saturday morning. I make sure I tune in to Ryan and Dustin. They have a great little show there. Great thing going on there. Crap Brewed Sports and No Credential, or I just said that, and the Corner Booth Podcast. A lot going on in my head between my ears, as always. And thank you to everybody who watches the show on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and who listens to the podcast on a regular basis, getting things out there a little more regularly. The Bulls I got a much deserved day off. They're on the road. Their All-Star Game was last night, so I had today off, and then back at it tomorrow. But I had thought I'd get on the airwaves and talk about the All-Star Game that happened last Tuesday. I didn't want to have an instant reaction or a screaming hot take and just an overreaction, I guess, overreaction Wednesday after it's all said and done. But we're talking about, obviously, the swing off. And the first thing they have to do if they're going to continue to have this is, because of the recent Diddy situation, they probably change the name from swing off to something a little bit different. That's the first thing they need to do. But when I was watching the game, and it wasn't great. It was 6-0 National League. I was like, oh well, another All-Star game, who cares? And then the American League came back and tied it up, and it was a great. Also, it was a lot of drama, a lot of excitement, a lot of fun for a baseball game. You know, I can watch a baseball game. It's the Reds and the Brewers. It doesn't matter to me. If it turns out to be a fun game, it's a fun game. All-Star game just adds to it. But then they all of a sudden, the game, you're thinking, okay, what are they doing? They're having the Manfred man, the guy at second base. And then out of nowhere, they start talking about this swing off thing and this home run competition. 3-0. If you didn't have a chance to watch it, or if you've been living under a rock and didn't hear what happened, they had three guys from the National League and the American League. Each got three swings no matter what. See more pitches, kind of like the All-Star Game used to be. You only swings counted. Like, not weird how that came back full circle for this, but so they had the swing off. Most home runs wins the All-Star Game in extra innings. I thought at first I was like, this is going to be stupid. This is dumb, but it ended up turning out. I didn't hate it. I thought it was actually pretty good. I thought it was fine. It ended a game that has no consequences. They don't keep track. They keep track who wins, but it doesn't matter who wins or loses this game. They're not giving home field advantage for the World Series, which was the stupidest thing in the history of sport, in my opinion, to give guys who weren't involved in a championship event like the World Series. There's guys who were basically bench players. They were add-on players in the All-Star Game, because you had to have X amount of guys per team, or at least one participant for every team playing in the All-Star Game. So I'm glad they got rid of that. But anyways, back to this home run thing to end the game. Kyle Schwarber, actually, he hit 3 in a row, and that ended it pretty much. And it's the only thing that was kind of odd to me was that the guys that were hitting when it was all said and done, Brett Rooker from the Oakland A's, Randy Arozarena from the Seattle Mariners, both solid players. But then the last guy, Arnada, can't pronounce his name or don't know who he is, from that juggernaut of a franchise, and everybody knows who this guy is, from the Tampa Bay Rays. We'll get into this in half a second. I just thought that it was really odd. And then for the National League, stools from the Marlins, and then you had like the aforementioned Kyle Schwarber, and then Pete Alonso was supposed to hit, but he didn't have to because it was already a done deal. But if this thing is going to be a thing, and they're going to make sure that the fans, I mean, it's only went to, I think, 13 or 14 times that the All-Star games went to extra innings, so it's not like it's a regular occurrence 100 some years where they've been doing this. But I think they really need to make sure that the guys who stick, the roster players, the guys who start the game, stick around to the end. I mean, Judge was gone, Ohtani was gone, and that was the first indicator. When I said, "Why the heck?" They go, "Oh, they're gone," which is odd, but we'll get into that in half a second too. You had a bunch of guys in street clothes come back up into the dugout and watch this thing, and it was a fun thing to watch, and brought a little bit of juice to a game, into extra innings. It was fun. It was fine. It was good. Done deal. What I think that they should have done personally is have one more, and I know they're trying to save pitchers. They don't want to wear guys out and blah blah blah. So just make guys pitch instead of just throwing the ball 100 miles an hour. But what I think they should do is just play one inning of extra actual inning of baseball, not with the Manfred man at second base, not with anybody else, not with this ghost run or whatever you want to call it, but basically have one inning of baseball. Okay. The 10th inning, someone wins, great. I know, like I said, pitchers are a thing, but there's lots of pitchers out there. They're there for their day off. I know it's slotted and charted, but it's just, this thing is for the fans, and that's why you do it. Then you can have this home run competition to end the whole thing. I thought it was put together pretty well. I was shocked to hear that it was happening. I was shocked to hear that a lot of the players didn't even know that it was a thing, when considering I think it was 2021 it got put into the collective bargaining agreement, and all the players had to agree with it. I just found it odd that all these players were leaving and that they were gone. Apparently, Ohtani and Judge had left the building. They were gone. See you later. Which is weird. That Judge, I know they have private birds and they're flying all over the place, but I just found it really strange that they weren't contractually obligated to be there till the bitter end. Like, I just thought they would have stuck around. I know the game doesn't mean anything once again, but they're contractually obligated to be there, whether it be for photo ops or interviews or whatever it may be after this thing, and not be halfway on an airplane, halfway across the globe for a couple of days off. I know they're allowed to, and they got all kinds of money, but they can stick around for another couple hours just to watch the end of this thing and be there for the end of the game. I remember I was listening to Michael Kay show the other day, and actually I remember this vividly. In 2008, when they had the All-Star game at Yankee Stadium, the old Yankee Stadium, before they tore it down, and A-Rod, he left after the third inning, and he was vilified for it, assassinated by the New York media for not sticking around. And of course, the golden child, Derek Jeter, he stuck around. I remember it vividly. It's not because I was listening to Michael Kay today, but it just refreshed my memory a little bit that you should stick around. You should stick around. It's your job. It's your job. For 2 more hours, you don't have to wait in line. Your bird's ready to go. You're not flying commercial. You're not flying coach. You're just jumping on your own bird, going wherever you want to go. You can stick around for 2 more hours. And this home run competition at the end, I don't want to say swing offs. I don't want it to sound like the old Diddy thing, but I just really think that they should have had the biggest stars, because the biggest stars were all there. They were all there. So these guys, whether they didn't know this is a thing, and that's quite possible. Major League Baseball finds a way to trip on their dink all the time. Didn't swear there, kids. They find a way to trip on their dink all the time. So maybe these guys didn't know. If Judge was made aware, maybe he would have stuck around. If Ohtani was made aware, maybe he would have stuck around. You just think that the Major League Baseball should have really made sure these guys were there. I'm not going to lie. I didn't watch 1 second of the home run competition. I heard that Jazz Chisholm Jr., and I didn't even follow up on it afterwards, but I heard he only hit 3, and that's pretty tough to do considering these guys can take it out of the ballpark. I guess the pressure's on a little bit, but during batting practice, they really wanted to. They could hit it out of the park whenever they wanted. But you have I just thought that Major League Baseball did a very good job of this. And you heard some people talking about maybe they should implement this into regular season games. And then people are up in arms. And like I said, well, it's not the worst idea. If they've already got the Manfred man out there and they've already got something going on them, and I hate even like in WCBL when they have that extra that ghost runner out there, I hate it. It's a bunt competition that could go on forever. And if people just bunt, hit a sac fly, game be over. But because guys can't bunt anymore, they don't do it. The fundamentals of baseball, Yankees, there's problems there. We might get into that a little bit later on today. But fundamentally, guys don't know how to play baseball anymore. A lot of these games could be done a lot quicker, a lot earlier. If the guys could bunt, move a runner over, slap one over on the right side. A lot of games could be done a lot earlier. I think we might get into that a little bit. But guys don't know how to play baseball the way you're supposed to be played, and games wouldn't go to 42 innings or 19 innings, 20 innings. You wouldn't have to worry about your pitch counts and extra pitchers in the bullpen coming out in the 18th inning. That's like how rare was that? How rare was the 18, 19, 20 inning game? Why we had to go away from playing baseball, and now that they are flying, every team has their own bird. So it's not like they got to go anywhere. I understand that the networks don't want to have baseball on all the time because they get more advertising money, blah blah blah. When there's another show comes on, if there's something else that comes on, they can play it. They can make more advertising money. When people are tuning off the baseball game, they aren't watching it, so they're not getting any return on investment. But how many times did it actually happen? How many over the years? How many innings went 19 innings? But anyway, so people are up in arms. Well, you can't go in regular season game that counts. You can't leave it to two guys to settle a regular season game that counts. Hockey did it. Hockey's done it to end games quicker. Hockey has a shootout. Why the heck can't baseball do the same thing? If you've already decided ahead of time that you're not going to let two teams decide it, that you're not going to have a starting pitcher decide it or a relief pitcher decide it. You've already decided that ahead of time. You've already decided that this is how we're going to finish this. We're not going to play the game the way the first 9 innings are changed. Why not change it? Soccer has penalty kicks, right? Basketball out at a 3-point line. Change the game completely. Change the game completely. Football has different rules for overtime, especially college football. I don't even know what those rules are. They're so bizarre. But why not? Why not to say, you know what? If we're already fed up with games being too long and the iPhone generation and the whatever doesn't watch, change it. Change it. Can't hurt. If everybody's decided that baseball's boring and baseball doesn't have this, and I don't think it is. I'm a baseball guy through and through. You guys know that. Those who listen to the show. And for those who are first time, look over my shoulder, right? I got a 6'4" = 2" shirt on right now. So I'm a baseball dork. I don't think it needs to be changed, but they decided to change it already by adding the extra runner. Why not go? Why not just go for it? Why not go for it? Try it in the minor leagues. Try it in the American League or the International League or whatever leagues out there, or the American Association or the Pioneer League. Try it in WCBL next year. Why not? You've already changed the narrative of the game. So why not just go the extra step? If you're play 1 inning of real baseball and it's not done, here we go. How many games are going to end that way? 20? 30? A game between the Colorado Rockies and the frickin' Chicago White Sox. People want to turn it off. Get it done with. Save your pitchers. Save these $1 million arms. Just change things up completely. Why wouldn't you? If you're so concerned with the pace of play and everything else, and you're so concerned with the revenues and time of game and pitchers' arms and blah blah blah, end games, just end it. And this is probably the best way because now you're having some pitching coach throw 3 taters up there and say hit it as far as you can. Would it be done quick? I don't know. The All-Star game was done pretty quick, and it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. Would it if it was my team in the playoff race to make it game 162? I don't know how much I would like it, but if that's the rules, that's the rules. Everybody's playing on the same playing field, right? Everybody's playing the same playing field. So what's the difference? Just keep it that way. Why not? If everybody's I hope they don't. But I'm saying if they've already decided this, the runner at second, that's been going on for a long time. You don't hear a lot of complaints about it. I hate it for a multitude of reasons. It exposes the lack of baseball knowledge that some guys have. It opens up opens up a lot of dark clouds around player development that guys just can't do it can't play baseball anymore. They just swing it and hope for the best every time. Good approach, great swing. Now you missed. Move a guy over, steal a base, whatever it might be. But I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. It wasn't the worst thing. The players seemed to have loved it. The players seemed to have really got a kick out of it. The players seemed to enjoy it. They were hooting and hollering and high-fiving and smiling. And Schwarber got the MVP, which I thought was kind of a joke. 3 batting practice swings to get to the MVP of the All-Star game. Yeah, that's a little rich. It's a little rich. But the game was good. Like, the game ended up being good with a big comeback to American League Canada. I thought it was entertaining as heck. I don't know how much I like the guys not playing very much, but you want to get all the guys in. I get that. Like having Kershaw go up for a couple of batters, I thought that was pretty poetic. I thought it was good. He's going to the Hall of Fame, obviously. I thought it was a great way to tee off his career. He's going to pitch for the Dodgers. We were first place again, but I thought it was very apropos, I guess, of having him out there and getting a send off to the fans that he deserves. Class guy through and through. And just everything. But that Tarek Scribble's a good pitcher, hey. Just massively obvious Brent Radlinsky on a Sunday morning here at the Yankee Tavern North. But I think baseball's in a pretty good spot. I don't think it's doom and gloom like everybody says it is. I don't think it's that bad. And to make some changes that might improve things and bring some more fans in, it's not the worst idea. I'll keep watching because, like I said, how many games go to extra innings? How many? Like it doesn't happen very often. And how many games go 11? Keep it at baseball for 10, have the swing off for the Diddy thing in the 11th, and then call it good. I think that might will it bring more eyeballs to the game? No. I just thought of that. Are kids going to tune in if there's a swing off? By the time they find out what channel it's on, it's over. So it's not going to bring more eyeballs to the game. Like it won't. Will it bring more eyeballs to the highlights? Maybe. But it's not going to bring more eyeballs to the game. It's not going to add viewership. It's just not. If people aren't watching in the first, they're not going to be watching in the 10th or the 11th or whatever you want to call it. They're like, oh, hey, this one's in the swing off. People barely tune into when it's a perfect game. I don't think that people want to watch skills competition. I could be wrong. But I don't think that people in general want to watch a skills competition. I know, like in hockey, and I've always hated the shootout. That two guys shouldn't decide a game. I've always hated it, but that's not going away. It ends the game a little bit quicker. I'd rather just a longer overtime in hockey instead of having a shootout and two guys. There's a long story behind that one. One of the last games I ever played competitively, we went to a shootout and we lost. But I don't think it's going away. Like it won't go away. But I don't think people are tuning in because there's a swing off. It's not going to add more eyeballs to the All-Star game. Nobody knew because Major League Baseball doesn't tell anybody. They didn't tell the players. So you can't expect the fans to know. And me being a baseball dork, and I didn't know. I was like, what the heck is this? But I just thought it was really, really strange. Speaking of baseball, the labor unrest, it was brought up during the All-Star break that there is, it's coming. And it's going to be a strike. There's going to be a lockout, and there's nothing we can do about it. There's absolutely nothing that they can do about it because of the players don't trust the owners. The owners don't trust the players, and they all think they're making too much money on both sides. And you have teams that spend $80 million, which is about 2/3 of what Juan Soto makes. You have I think it's the Marlins and the Chicago White Sox who spend $80 million. And then the rest of the teams are spending, they got some spend 100, 120, 130. And obviously the Yankees and Dodgers and Mets are spending 300 plus. But there's definitely has to be I think there has to be a floor no matter what. National Hockey League has, I think it's $56 million, which is Soto. But I think there has to be a floor no matter what to have some kind of a competitive balance. I don't think that it's right to have a team spending what two starting pitchers is on the Yankees or even the Red Sox or whoever. I don't think that that's a good competitive thing. I don't think that brings people into the stands. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Nobody pays money to watch the home team lose. And your only guaranteed revenue is what? Two things. Your TV contracts, so they make money no matter what on that, and ticket sales. You can't predict how many hot dogs people are going to eat, how many hats they're going to buy. But if you can have your ticket sales, that's guaranteed income. That is guaranteed income. If nobody comes to your games, you aren't getting any guaranteed income. So baseball has a major problem in their hands, and the Oakland situation with them moving, which should have opened up a lot of eyes. And Tony Clark, the player rep for Major League Baseball, he's been pushing for this for a long time, and he's flat out said that the players will never ever accept a salary cap, and you can't blame him. I mean, is anybody worth $56 million? Well, they must be. Somebody decided to pay him that. Are people worth $40 million? Well, they must be. Someone decided to pay him. Could baseball, the owners say, we're not doing it anymore? Yeah, they could. But there'll always be that one owner who's going to say, you know what? I'm paying it because I want to win. I want to fill the building. I want to get a ring, legacy, blah, blah, blah. So you're always going to have that one owner who guaranteed is going to spend. So that's why they have to find a way to do something. Should there be a cap? I don't know. It's a person's right to make as much as they possibly can. But Should there be some kind of way where you have a franchise guy who's allowed to make 150 million? If they say, "Hey, here you go," we discussed this a long time ago. Had a bit of a plan. You get one guy that you can pay whatever you want. He has to be drafted by your organization. He has to be part of your thing, or he has to be part of your tent for 5 or 6 years. You can't just go get every free agent, but like you get one guy that you can pay whatever you want. If you want to pay one guy to go over the cap, $100 million, and it doesn't hurt, go against your cap, why not? What's it hurt? It's just, I think it's really things have to change because there's so many more have-nots in baseball than there, and it was all sports. There's so many more have-nots than haves. And for Tony Clark to say we're not going to ever accept a salary cap, I think that's pretty rich, because you're going to have a lot of owners saying, you know what, then we're not going to play, because a lot of teams would save money by not playing, right? They would, because sometimes they say they're crying broke because they're not making any. But you have a lot of guys, a lot of owners who say, you know what, it wouldn't hurt my feelings if we didn't play. Then I still get my revenue sharing, blah blah blah, and that's that there's such a mistrust between the owners and the players, because the owners won't open their books and say how much they're making. Like, I was looking at the standings before I started recording this. Like, you can't tell me the Colorado Rockies are making any money. 24, 28 wins, whatever they got. It's July the 20th, and you got 25 wins. That's not good, and the place isn't packed. Like, what's their TV deal worth still, though? That's guaranteed making money for them. So there's a lot of dishonesty when it comes to these owners and the players. And the players are an open book. Everybody knows how much these guys make. You don't know what their bonus structure is and everything else, unless do a real deep dive on it, or their endorsement deals. But these players are doing pretty good. They're doing pretty good. If you get that second contract, which takes a long time to get, and then you have it's tough, but you don't know who's going to win this war. Will the owners eventually win out? Some of them want to keep making money. I mean, if you got a payroll of 350 million like the Mets do, I know that Cohen's got a lot of money, but he still wants to keep making money. So, and if they're not playing, he ain't making money. He's not getting the TV deals. He's not getting this, and he's losing money. It's still a business to him. So they got to figure this thing out, but I don't know if they're going to. And if baseball decides to go to if they strike, or if they get locked out, it's going to take a long time to come back. You think about '94 when the Expos left. It took a long time. It took steroids and Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa to bring it back. But now that that's done, and it's just a different game, and different people, different viewership, different demographics who are watching baseball now, or who aren't watching baseball now. Baseball's going to have a really tough time coming back. And the popularity of college baseball, I know it's done in June, the College World Series, but it's a lot more popular than people believe, and people will get their baseball fix, and they don't need Major League Baseball. Minor league attendance is up too. So is the big leagues the big leagues? Yeah, of course. You want the best guys out there, but baseball is going to be in a heck of a spot if they go get some labor unrest and don't come back. One team that doesn't, I'm watching right now, the Toronto Blue Jays, and they're playing the Giants right now. But the Toronto Blue Jays have themselves a 3-game lead in mid-July, just before the trade deadline. And this is one that I love it. Like, I love it. I've said it before, I'll say it again. When the Jays are relevant, it makes this baseball guy really happy, even though I'm a Yankee fan, because everybody in Canada is watching this team now. Everybody's thinking, okay, what can they do? And it's going to get into August and the dog days, but people will start watching. Remember back in 2015 when they went on that magical run? Yeah, they lost to the Royals in the ALCS, but that whole thing leading up to that point, that entire summer, the trade for Tulowitzki, and then they got David Price in the last hour, and on it went. How they just couldn't do anything wrong, and Russell Martin, and just how that team was just on fire, and the country Canada got behind it. Ross Atkins, the GM for the Jays, has a real opportunity to cement a great legacy for himself. He hasn't been a very liked individual so far in his tenure with the Jays, but he has a chance here. He can go out and get a big arm or a big bat or something. Like Bo Bichette, did you trade him? I know it might sound stupid, but Bichette's done this year. He's hitting 280, not many 280 hitters out there anymore. But if you can get that guy to put you over the hump and go for it, because when are you going to have this chance again? When you got a 3-game lead in the American League East, which isn't very good. The Yankees are the Yankees. They're not playing fundamentally sound baseball. Got lucky last night with that with Volpe hitting 2 home runs. He must have known that I was recording today, because I was going to rip Volpe a new one as how this show was going to start. But it turns out and I'm not a Volpe guy. Everybody knows that. I think he should be sent away to was going to say an island. He should be sent away somewhere else. Tom Cruise Island. There we go, to Scientology Island or something. Because just go away and be done. Don't be a Yankee anymore. He just doesn't got it. But he hit the 2 home runs for the Yankees to have that comeback win last night at the time of this recording. But the Jays have a real opportunity here to do some damage and get themselves into a World Series. Yes, the Astros are very good, but I think they can be had. And if you can go out, and the Jays are in a division right now where the Yankees, like I said, they're not great, but by any means don't scare anybody. You have the Red Sox who aren't even trying to win; they're 5 games out, and they're there. And then you got the always. For some reason, the Rays are right there at 5.5 out. But they have a chance right now to go out and do some damage and get this, and go out and get a guy and get this entire country behind them again, and get this place and get Canada behind baseball again. Because when the Jays are rolling, there's nothing like it. Because you go coast to coast, you got 30 million people who just adore this baseball team. Yeah, and I've said it. I cheer for the Jays, even except when they're playing the Yankees. But when it comes to playoffs and the Yankees are out and the Jays are in, I'm in. It's a great atmosphere, bars, restaurants, people talking about it, hats rolling off the shelves, and everybody's dressed in blue. Actually, about Blue Jays night at Spit Stadium this week. If you wear your Blue Jays gear, you get half price tickets, kids in free on Wednesday night if you're listening to this. But yeah, the Jays, I think, have a real shot. They have a real shot if they go out and get a pitcher, but everybody's looking for that pitcher. So what do you give up? I give up Bichette. I give up because he's gone. I give up every prospect I possibly have. I give up draft picks. I give up it all. I sell the farm. Prospects are just guys. You sell the farm and you go for it. Because you might not get another chance to do it. And if Atkins can get himself and the Blue Jays into an ALCS at minimum, that buys him some time, and you get people wanting to come. Because if your team's pretty good, I don't think that players care that much about where they play anymore. I don't think there's that draw about being a Yankee anymore, because the Yankees don't win, and New York can be tough. And people don't necessarily want to play in California because they can travel and do whatever they got to do in their families. But I think that if they have a chance of maybe winning something, I think that can come into effect. So if the Jays can have themselves a run like they did in 16 or 15 and 16 or 92 and 93, or even in the mid 80s when they were seemed to be right licking the jar every time, they could really get themselves in a position to do something in the future and because they got Vladdy signed long term and they have some good pitching right now. So you just wonder, is Max Scherzer, is he going to be the guy to do anything? Is he going to come out of the woodworks and figure something out? You never know. You just never know, because he have one more start in him. I hope the Yankees are there, but I just don't trust that lineup. I don't trust the way they play baseball. I just think that their analytics guys they change things too much. How that lineup changes day in, day out. But this isn't the Yankee show. I'll do one of those on Tuesday night here when the Bulls have another night off. I got one more night off, and then we got doubleheader tomorrow with the Bulls. Weird one, but whatever. And then we got Tuesday off, and there's a whole string of games coming up. Anyways, that's the 1420 Sports Bar podcast on this Sunday morning, the 20th of July already. Dog days of summer are abound, or right behind us, or right ahead of us. So make sure you guys tune into Belly Up Sports YouTube channel, bellyupsports.com, for all their great articles. And there'll be an article about this show coming up later on that. So make sure you listen to that, and follow us wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple, iHeart, iTunes, Good Pods, all the places. And obviously, thank you everybody who watches the show and comments accordingly. That's 1420 Sports Bar podcast. 4 beer sports talking a whole lot more. Be good to each other, but more importantly, be good to yourself, team year round. Keep your stick on the ice. Don't swing at high pitches. Remember, it doesn't matter where you are. It's who you're with. Have yourselves a great Sunday, and we will talk to you all very soon. Thanks for tuning into the 1420 Sports Bar podcast. 4 beer and sports talking a whole lot more. Brought to you by SeatGeek. Go to bellyupsports.com for the best of sports articles and podcasts. Subscribe to our YouTube channel or wherever it is you get your podcast.